So like many of you, we are officially shelter in place, which means we can't leave our houses for any reasons other than absolute necessities, which means we are no longer going to the studio. So I grabbed a few things because we knew this was coming, and I set up in my house, which just feels very like 2009 old school film Riot. I'm the only person in the room. I set up the camera, I lit it, went back and forth trying to figure out if I think it looks good. I'm not even 100% sure, and hopefully the sound is working well as well. But that's what I used to do in 2009. It was just me in a room doing the hosting segments just by myself, figuring it out. So, we're figuring it out. But this continues to be a scary and confusing situation for all of us. And I did want to say that if you do struggle with anxiety or depression and you feel like you need to talk to somebody, please do that. There are hotlines that you can call, and we put a number in the notes below for you. If you do feel like you need to talk to someone, don't wait and let that build up within you. Please reach out and talk to somebody now if you do feel like you need to. But for today, we did want to do something that you all actually suggested, and I thought it was a fantastic idea. Something that we could do together to get our minds off of the situation, give us a reason to be creative and a part of this community more actively, and that is a 60-second quarantine challenge. So sort of like what we used to do with the Monday challenges, we're gonna give you 1 week starting today to create a 60-second video of pretty much any kind. The only rules are it has to be no longer than 60 seconds. Of course, it could be shorter than 60 seconds, but no longer than 60 seconds. So don't add end credits or anything like that. That will count to the time. Also, this has to take place indoors, in your house, wherever it is that you are sheltered in place, you're stay at home. That's the point of all this. We're staying inside and being creative with what we have. And no doom and gloom. I don't want to see any end of the world type stuff. I want to laugh or just enjoy what you all send. So positivity and creativity, that is what we're looking for on this. That doesn't mean it has to be comedy. I just don't want to see any negativity. So it could be a fake commercial, it could be a 60-second short film, it could be just a 60-second visual joke, any of the above. Of course, as always, the music that you use has to be royalty-free music, but a really great thing for that is I was talking to my friends at Musicbed, and they said you can sign up for a free subscription for 30 days right now. Just click the link in the notes below for that, use it for this, and then cancel your subscription, and you never have to pay a dime. So you can get whatever music you want for your project just by creating a free subscription over at Musicbed. Finally, again, it's starting today, and the submission deadline is going to be April 2nd at 5 p.m. CST. That's when we're going to cut everything off, and from that point on, we're going to be picking our winners. So the contest is going to shut down at that point, and we'll be picking the winners for probably about a week, since I'm sure it'll take some time for us to get through all of them. To submit this, you're just going to go to the link below. It's a Gleam.io link, and you're going to be able to submit right there. Just upload to YouTube and then submit the YouTube link right at that app. And we have some amazing prizes for this as well. There's going to be 3 winners in total, and all 3 winners are going to get the exact same thing thanks to our amazing friends who wanted to donate some goodies to you guys. So that's going to be some audio plugins from Accusonus, a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud, a copy of Cine Tracer, which is the game that I've been talking about nonstop that you can make all your storyboards in. We're also going to have a 1-year personal subscription to Musicbed, a copy of Filmic Pro, Red Giant Complete, a copy of Shot Lister, an MZ Pro Premium membership, a $500 coupon code to any of our digital products on triunedigital.com, and the Ultra Studio bundle from Video Copilot. So just a ton of goodies that you guys are going to be able to get right away. We stuck with digital downloads. That way you guys can get them immediately. We don't have to wait to be shipping anything out. So a huge thank you to all of our partners. They were all very excited to be a part of this and create something that we could all, again, use to get our minds off things and be creative. But one of the coolest parts about this is who's going to be judging the competition, and that is Scott Glassgold. Scott Glassgold is a friend of mine and a Hollywood manager. He has been selling features to places like Sony. He currently has a deal with Screen Gems. Scott knows what he's talking about. So not only are the prizes amazing, but who is actually going to be looking at your work is pretty exciting as well. I also did a whole episode with Scott on our Film Riot podcast about what a manager is and what a manager does. So definitely check check that out in the links below as well. Now, how to shoot this thing when you're stuck in your house. A lot of us don't have very visually pleasing houses, including mine. It's a lot of white walls, not a lot of great places to shoot, but there are things that you can do to make it more interesting. First, what you're shooting on. A lot of us have cameras, but if you don't, you have a cell phone. Just shoot it on that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And even if you don't have a computer to edit on, there are apps that you can use on your phone or your tablet that you can edit video on. That stuff has come a really long way. So definitely check out last week's episode where we talked about things you can do in quarantine. There's some links there for different apps that you can use to actually pull this off. Now for lighting, you can just use lamps inside of your house. We've shown episodes on how you could do things like that, just using regular bulbs. With how sensitive cameras are nowadays, that should be more than enough. And then if you want to color that light, you could always bounce it off something like colored paper or a sheet that's color. Anything that has color in your house so you can bounce light off of or shoot light through is going to work for you. Just get creative. Of course, be careful when you're doing that. If you are using standard tungsten bulbs or any light that does get hot, you're going to want to make sure you're not putting that too close to something flammable. Then you have your area. Like I said, my house is filled with just white walls, but you can move a character closer to a window so they're brighter and you're making the background darker like we did in our lens test episode. All that is available light. We didn't use any lights in a shot like this. The whole thing was just using a window and backing our character away from the wall that was behind them as much as possible to create as much depth as possible. You can also light the background and then light your actor a little bit more dark. The idea is just to create contrast, but you just want to use what you have at your disposal in your house. Then with your camera moves, handheld or locked down aren't your only options. There are ways that you can get creative and do smooth movement if that's what you're looking for. And we've done a few episodes on how you can hack general things to do exactly that. For instance, if you wanted a dolly shot, you could just use a chair with wheels on it, or a skateboard, or a towel sheet, or even just a piece of cardboard. In one of our older episodes, we showed how a small piece of cardboard on a smooth surface could yield in pretty solid sort of slider type shots. Or a bigger piece of cardboard with a tripod on top of it could be a longer dolly move. Then we have a whole episode on how to think about your tripod differently to use in different ways, including dolly shots or crane shots or sort of steady cam like shots. So definitely check that out in the links below. We'll put links to all of that and everything else I'm talking about below, including a bunch of episodes that we think might inspire you or help you to come up with some ideas. The idea here is to focus on concepts. We don't have a lot to work with. And I think that can be something very interesting to open up your brain. If you're used to all this gear or all this crew, what do you have around you to where you can become a MacGyver filmmaker and make something great? Because again, it is all about the idea, not the technology. So again, go to the link for the submission below. It'll have this video on it and a list of all the prizes and our awesome judge, Scott Glassgold. So that's 1 week to come up with your 60-second video. Next week, we'll start going into all the winners. And 2 weeks from now, we'll announce the winners and show a couple of the videos that you guys pulled off and sent in. So get started on that. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.